Hello everybody, and welcome. It's me, zu-wii-mama, and today, yes, we've got another tutorial, and it is the Jolly Llama. I've been itching to do the Jolly Llama for such a long time, but as you can imagine, I've had a lot of requests, and I'm still working through those, so please, if you do have a request, or you've given me a request already, just be patient, because I have so many coming through each day, and I'm working my hardest to get them all done. But nevertheless, here he is. What do you think of that? He looks pretty cool, doesn't he? I really like the look of how he turned out. I love the fact how these sort of horns come out as well. They turn out quite nice. And yeah, definitely one of my favourite llamas that I've built so far. But I think it's about time we get onto the colours. What do you reckon? Let's get onto it. For cyan terracotta. 74 lime green terracotta, 102 green wool, 56 light grey concrete, 4 black concrete, 114 green concrete, 147 brown terracotta, 72 brown wool, 38 grey terracotta, 18 red concrete, 18 red wool, 180 smooth quartz, 16 snow, 102 white concrete, 12 white terracotta, 14 yellow concrete, 9 yellow terracotta, 7 yellow wool, and the last one's 403 brown concrete. And I just want to say, all these numbers might not be 100% exact, so do have a few spares here and there just in case I miscounted. But anyway, let's get down to the build, shall we? Okay, so get yourself a nice big area, and what we're going to do is I'm just marking out with this pink block here, so do not copy what I'm doing with the pink. I'm purely just showing you what we're doing. So you want to have a 4x4 grid, a 4x4 cube should I say, and then we're going to go up by a total of 12 blocks. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because my videos and tutorial style are completely different to what you've seen. So all you need to do now is pause the video, because you know the dimensions and how high we're going by 12 blocks. Pause the video, copy that pattern down, unpause it once you've done, and then move around to the right hand side, which is where now we've got the next pause section. So all you need to do again is pause that video and repeat. That's all you need to do. So like I said, my build style is completely different to any other tutorials that you've seen on the internet before, and that's what makes me unique, I guess, because I don't think anyone has ever done this before. So I figured I'm going to do it, and you might not like it, but you know, I kind of do, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, and then it's spinning on back around to the front. So there we go, we got our first leg complete. What you want to do is now from the back here, we're going to count out a total of 7 blocks, and then on the 8th block, we're then going to build the next part of the leg. So on the 8th block, we're going to do again a 4x4 rectangle, and again we're going to go up by a total of 12 blocks. Remember, exactly the same height as the first leg we've done. And once you've done that, again, remember what we're going to do now is a lovely pause section. So remember to pause the video again if you're new around here. And the blocks that you can see is along the base, we've got light grey concrete. We've also got a little bit of cyan terracotta there. And then moving on up from we've got brown terracotta, which is the brownest brown that you can see there. We've also got above that, it's brown concrete. And then in the middle is a brown wool. So there we go. So we were using 3 different shades of brown at the minute, and again with a little bit of light grey across the base there with a little smidge of cyan terracotta. And again we're coming around to the last sort of panel, and then we should be back round to the front, and we should have 2 complete whole legs. There we go, looking good. So you should have 2 legs looking like that, looking exactly the same. Look at that, beautiful. Now what we're going to do is from the front of the first leg, we're going to go 1, 2, and then on the 3rd block, so 2 block gap. And then on the 3rd block, we're going to, again, yes, you got it. You've already guessed it, yeah. We're going to repeat what we've already did. So what we're going to do this time, though, is we're copying. All I'm doing is copying across the leg that you can see in front, okay? So you can see the pattern in there is exactly the same. So that's all we're going to do for the inside of this leg to start off with. Okay, there we go, a little bit of wool. And then we're switching back to our brown concrete. And then top it off with a little bit of brown terracotta. So now that's the inside of our next leg done, we're now going to do the further 3 blocks from there, which will make it 4 wide. And then remember, we're going to go all the way up until the 12th block. So now all we're going to do is a nice little pause section, but we're not obviously going to copy that first column because we've already did that. We're just going to focus on the next 3 columns. And there we go. Remember, we've got brown terracotta, brown wool, brown concrete there, and a little bit of light grey across the base there. There we go, spinning around to the right hand side. Okay, looking good. You've already done this 2 times already, so this should be a breeze on number 3. And then spinning around to the back and the final part of the build. Looking good. And all we need to do now is focus on the last and final leg, because obviously we don't want a wonky donkey jolly llama. We want to actually a nice up straight llama. So from the back here, remember we're going to do a 7 block gap, or you can come to the back of the legs here and have a 2 block gap and build on the 3rd block. And again, all you can see is what I'm doing here is copying the pattern in front of me. Okay, so I'm copying the pattern of the opposite leg, and as you see, we're going to fill it in with a little bit of concrete here, a little bit of brown concrete, and then fill it in with brown wool. Keep going up, brown wool, there, and then back to the brown concrete. A little dash of that there, and then back to the brown terracotta. There we go. So that's the inside of our next leg. And then remember, we're going to come out by 3 again, and we're going to go all the way up by 12 blocks yet again. So you know the drill by now. We've already done 3 legs. This is the last and final leg that you need to worry about. So there we go. There's the first pattern. Looking good. And then we're going to spin on around to the right hand side and do that part of the leg. And yes, don't worry, because I've not made an editing error here. I've just literally copied a part of the video rather than editing a whole other section. But this leg, trust me, is the same as the back leg that we should be actually building right now. If that makes sense for any of you sharp-eyed people out there, okay, it's not an error, it's actually done on purpose. But anyway, you should have something looking a little bit like this at that point. Okay, so remember to ignore the pink block. I'm just purely using that as a tool to mark out where we're building. So what I want you to do is come to the front of the build, and we're going to overhang it by a total of 1 block, and then we're going to go up by a total of 10 blocks. So that's going to be the front part of the llama, and then we're going to wrap this all the way across to the opposite side and overhang it by 1 block. And then all I want you to do is drag that all the way to the back legs, and then overhang it by 2 blocks on the back. Okay, so there we go, 2 block gap, and then again we're going to whip that all the way round. And remember, you don't need to use pink at this point. I'm just purely using that to show you where we're building, okay, and where the pause section is going to be. Okay, so now we're going to do the first pause section, the front part of the Jolly Llama, and there we go. The big pink section that you can see, you can leave that blank, or you can use any old block you want, because we're building on that a little bit later, so don't worry about any pink blocks that you see now in the build. Okay, now spin on around to the side, and you can see we've got green concrete, green wool, lime green terracotta, we've got red concrete, red wool, and we've also got our grey terracotta in there as well. Okay, so you can really see the difference in blocks. Around the back end, we've got brown concrete on the tail there with some grey terracotta, and predominantly it's just filled in with brown wool. Spinning on around again to the opposite side, and this side is pretty much the same as the other side. Okay, so we're just literally replicating the same. So again, we've got lime green concrete there, green concrete, green wool. Yeah, we got it all, you name it, we got it. Okay, spin on back to the front. So from the front looking down now, we're going to do our last sort of pause section of the body. So there we go. So again, we've got lime terracotta, we've got some green concrete, green wool, we've got some brown wool and brown concrete. There we go. Now, once we've done that, we're going to come up from the base here by 3 blocks, and on the 4th block, and if for your information, it's 3 blocks in from the side, we want it to come out by a total of 4 blocks, and then we're going to go up by 18 blocks in total. So this is the sort of neck part leading up towards the head. There we go, looking good. And then also from the sort of 2 blocks in from the top of the build there, we're actually just going to connect this up. So it's like a big rectangle, I guess, shape just off the body there. And I'm just going to connect that around just so you've got a visual of what's actually going on. And remember, you don't need to use pink blocks like me. I'm just using that as a marker. So here we go. This is the next paw section. And I do apologise because it is very, very tiny. You can see that we've got a yellow wall there, yellow terracotta, yellow concrete. We've also got our grey terracotta mixed with our red concrete and red wool. Spinning on around to the front now, and we've got a lot of white concrete along the base there, a lot of smooth quartz, which predominantly is the sort of mid section, and then moving on up to the yellows. There we go, and spinning on back and round to the opposite side. Again, we got some white concrete along the base there, followed by some quartz. Then we got our yellows. Then we got a bit of grey terracotta, and then to finish it off with a bit of red and green on top. There we go, look at that. And then spin on around to the back. Again, pretty much the same. A bit of yellow terracotta, yellow wool, yellow concrete. We got some grey terracotta and some brown wool. There we go, look at that. Spinning on around to the front now. Okay, now spinning on underneath of the build, we're just going to show you. It's just literally filled in with white concrete. Okay, so you can fill up all the gap underneath there with white concrete. Now we're going to start building up the nose or the snout sort of part. So what we're going to do is use our brown wool. We're going to place one here and one there like that. Switching to our grey terracotta, and we're going to place 3 like that. And then underneath, we're going to place 1 on the diagonal. Filling that gap there with yellow terracotta, white terracotta there, and 2 on the side. And then we're going to switch to our snow block and go 1, 2, and then switch into our black concrete. We're going to place 1 there, and then we're going to switch back to snow. Sorry, it's a lot of switching. Then just finish it off with 2 light grey concrete in the centre there. Spin on around to the side. Now what we're going to do is literally replicate that same pattern on this edge here. So we're going to go 3 blocks away from the first panel we just did, and we're literally, all I'm going to do is copy it across. Okay, so everything that you see here, I'm just copying whatever I've already done. So white snow, bit of black concrete there, some light grey concrete, snow on top, and then to finish it off with a little bit of wool on the side. So you should have 2 sides exactly the same on either side. There we go, look at that, pretty cool. And you should have a 2 block gap in the centre. Switching to our brown concrete now, and then we're going to place 2, 4 in the centre there, and then finish a light grey and some snow across there, so it's all connecting nicely. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to now finish off the sort of underside. So we're just going to use a little bit of white terracotta there just to connect those 2 parts. We're then going to use a bit of snow just there, and then we're just going to nick a little bit of white concrete because I didn't have any in my hand, and then place 2 like that. There we go, so you should have something looking a little bit like this so far. And then all we're going to do is grey terracotta. We're just going to link that up underneath and then finish it off all the gaps with some white terracotta. There we go, look at that, and that is our snout done. Wicked, look at that. So if you already haven't done so, the top of the head should be all with brown wool. And what you need to do now is come in 1 from the side, and it should be 2 block gap between the front of the head and the back of the head, and then you should be able to place your ears. So you're going to place 1 white concrete, 3 snow, followed by 3 light grey concrete, like that, and then switch to our brown concrete and place 1 there and 1 there to finish off that. And then what you want to do is spin on around to the back, and we're going to just fill some more brown concrete there, and 1 there, and top it off with a little brown wool to finish it up. There we go, look at that. And all we're going to do now is replicate that on the opposite side. So again, there should be a 2 block gap from this one, and then on the 3rd block you should be able to place a white concrete followed by 3 snow. Go into our light grey concrete, 1, 2, 3 on the diagonal there, brown concrete there and there to fill in the gaps, and then we're going to spin on around to the back with our brown concrete still in our hand. We're going to place it in 1, 2, 3 and 1 in the centre, and then top it off with a little bit of brown wool. There we go, look at that, and there we go, we've got 2 lovely little llama ears. Jolly llama ears. Okay, so it's about time we put these antlers on. So from the side of the head we should have a pink square. So what we're going to do now is come up by 6 blocks from that pink square, and then next to that we're going to cut it up by 5 blocks. There we go. Okay, so now from here we're going to come out by 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we've got a nice rectangle now coming off the side, and then you want to place another 3 on top and 3 on top of that. So you've got like another big rectangle box, and then going to go up by 1, 2, and then come out by 1, 2, 3, 4 upwards. There we go. So that's the first sort of part, and then from this big rectangle again, you want to come up again by 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to sort of go on the inside and place 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. There we go. So you should have something looking a little bit like this. I mean, if you want to freestyle a little bit, go for it, because it's all going to add to the effect. So we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So it should be a pink square, which is just there. And then you're going to come up by a total of 6 blocks. Next to that, you're going to come up by a total of 5. Then from there, you're going to come out by 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you've got like a nice rectangle. It comes out 3 from the side there, and then on top you're going to go another 3, and then another 3 on top of that. From here we're going to do the inside, so we're going to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4 again. So it's like another little rectangle in there, and then from here 1, 2, 3. Oh, what am I doing? 1, 2, 3. I'm freestyling. There we go. Yeah, there we go. I did it all. Yeah, I did it all higgledy-piggledy, but you get the idea, don't you, right? But congratulations, you've got yourself a Jolly Llama. I've been zu-wii-mama. I hope you enjoyed that, and stick around for some more videos. Bye.